And now the news. The House of Assembly bestowed the first ever member emeritus status on the territory's longest-serving parliamentarian, Honorable Ralph T. O'Neill. Mr. O'Neill retired from politics this year after 40 consecutive years of service. Premier Dr. D'Orlando Smith tabled a motion in the House of Assembly to bestow the title of Member Emeritus to Ralph O'Neill for his most distinguished, devoted, dedicated, and selfless service to the Virgin Islands and its people, and for his role in the development of the territory.
We're making history today. We're making history from two different points of view. We are actually having a motion debated for the member and the members present. But we're also making history because I don't know that there's any other time in the history of the council where we have bestowed an honor of this nature to an individual who has served in the House, because certainly my understanding of member emeritus means that the honorable member will carry the title Honorable R.T. O'Neill in an official capacity until thy kingdom come. And although we refer to past members as honorable, it will be official in this instance.
From the time that the Honorable R.T. O'Neill assumed office as an elected member, his aim was to promote stability in the territory and to help to create confidence in the government of the day. He said that without these ingredients, it would be difficult for the territory to develop. But one of the other roles, important roles that Mr. O'Neill played, was his role in the House of Assembly. He believed very sincerely that there should be respect for the House of Assembly, respect for the House, respect for the rules of the House, and respect for one another in the rules in the House of Assembly. He believed that this was the only way that the House of Assembly could function efficiently and truly represent the views of the people of this country and be admired and respected by the people of this territory.
11 of the 13 members were present in the House of Assembly when it met on Monday, July 6th. All 11 members shared their experiences and memories of Mr. O'Neill, who was present in the House of Assembly.
When you came to Mr. O'Neill for help with something, you could always walk away knowing that he was going to assist you. And so he's known to be a man of his word.
I remember I was having some issues with a job I had at a private firm. And they wanted to send me home for unknown reasons that I couldn't understand. I was advised to go to Honorable O'Neill and present my case. I made an appointment. He saw me the following day. I took my files. He went over my files. And he said, I see no reason why you should be sent home. There is nothing indicating on your files that you did anything wrong. He looked at me, he said to go back to your job and I'll take it from there. The following day, the secretary came to me and she said, so you went to the big dog to complain us? And I said, yes. I said, how you know? She said, because he called. He called the boss and he said, if you send home Miss Maduro, who is a local, be prepared to send home 3 of your expats the next day. He said, now you have 1 day to make up your mind.
And if I tell someone right now, Mr. O'Neill, that I didn't learn from you in that exchange, those exchanges, and try to take credit for anything I know regarding that area of my work, which is labor, I'll be lying. You stood firm. The example that was given by the member for the 6th a little while ago, I saw it. I watched it, not with her, but with others. How you have defended your constituents in your district, sometimes against all odds. And that's not it's not just your constituents in your district, but as the member for the 6th district said, you did it for everyone throughout this territory.
I certainly will remember Mr. O'Neill for one of the things, two things that he said that I quote all the time. He always says that politics is the art of the possible. Always, don't know if that was original, but he was the first person I heard say that, and so I associated with him, that politics is the art of the possible. The next saying that I certainly think will go down in somewhere in the history of, in the annals of this country, says that the BVI is a country long on rumor and short on fact. And if you're in politics, if you know nothing else about politics, that you must know. It's long on rumor and short on fact, because where the people that get the thing from, only God knows. And he stood it up for 40 years, so God bless his soul.
The most profound one that I remember is that he always stated to me that he has 2 ears and 1 mouth so that he can listen twice as much as he speaks. And, you know, being a young elected leader, one time I had a meeting with Honorable O'Neill, and I said something. He asked me to repeat it because I thought he had went to sleep. So I repeated it, and he told me he didn't answer, so I said he was sleeping, he didn't hear me. 2 to 3 months down the road, something came up, and I said it. And Honorable O'Neill told me, that's not how you said it. I said, no, that's what I said. In a couple months, he said, that's not how you said it. I was here, and I make you repeat it twice to make sure that I was sure what you said. So now I learned to myself, okay, so you don't be sleeping. So I had to learn that don't mind his eyes are closed. He's far from sleep. And I learned that the hard way. So, but that was a kind of calm, cool leader and person Honorable O'Neill is. And one of the saying that he said to me that I have used, especially in my latter part of my political career, is the little saying that says, anger is a blow to sense. Be not quick to take offense. Let it pass. Let it pass.
According to Deputy Premier Dr. Kedrick Pickering, Mr. O'Neill is the 3rd longest serving parliamentarian in the English-speaking Caribbean. He said Mr. O'Neill has spent over 60 years in public service, which included the clerk of the Legislative Council, before he was first elected in September 1975 as the representative for Virgin Gorda and later Anegada until 2015 when he retired.
He has served the people of the 9th District of Virgin Gorda and Anegada from in his very early days as a teacher and headmaster of the North Sound School back in the days when there was no school building in North Sound. But school was actually conducted in the church hall. The standard of education back then in the 60s, during Mr. O'Neill's time, was the 7th standard. And he ensured as headmaster of that school that all persons from North Sound attained that 7th standard certificate. He served uninterrupted as the 9th District representative for 10 terms. That in itself is quite a feat. He meant everything to Virgin Gordians. He was the main provider in every way, whether it meant getting a birth certificate, renewing a passport, securing a work permit for someone, getting a scholarship, building a retaining wall, securing title for land. And yes, I understand he even wrote love letters for those guys who couldn't or were afraid to make the approach. So, as you can see, Madam Speaker, Mr. O'Neill was quite an institution within himself. I must mention, though, that we were political rivals. My brother couldn't get him beat. And you could safely say I couldn't get him beat. So I thank God for his retirement now that I've been given this opportunity to sit in this seat. Thank you, Mr. O'Neill.
Ralph O'Neill was appointed as Chief Minister after the death of H. Lavity Stout and served from 1995 to 2003. He became the territory's first premier in 2007 and the only politician to hold the position of Leader of the Opposition 3 times in the Virgin Islands. In accepting his new member emeritus status, Mr. O'Neill shared some of his fond memories as a legislator.
And then one bit about Mr. Fortner. I noticed that he would be going out quite often. And I wonder why he going there all the time. But when he comes back in, he was, looked like something was wrong. And we tried to find out what it is he could be going out for. And we searched and searched. And then something tell me, go into the bathroom and look at the thing, the water tank. And there the bottle of liquor was. I thought that I had never seen a pinling of fair hair. I don't know what it meant, but Bahamas had a golden mace. And pinling was then coming into power, but it had a lot of resistance. And one meeting, he got in a rage, take up the mace, carry it outside and mash it up, just mash it up in splinters. And what he said with the French language, there is no government in this country for the black man. But he didn't say that alone, you know. He had in the French words in it. I mean, the obscene language. Yeah. So, beside here, that mace was broken apart. I think Keith was the speaker. And when Omar jumped from down there, 5 years to there, and Cyril Romney, who was Chief Minister, yes, couldn't get from there where Dr. Smith is to where the mace is before home. And it was I think it came before the council to sort out, and it was recommended that he be bad for three months. Yeah, so now and again we used to get some fun with some of those things happening, you know.
Honorable Ralph O'Neill is currently writing a book of his memoirs. The House of Assembly also placed on record its sincere gratitude and appreciation to Mr. O'Neill and wishes him a happy and peaceful retirement. Members of the House were also grateful to his wife, Idris O'Neill, and his family for their sacrifice.